Hello humans! Welcome to the final video in this Intro to Python series. Today I'll be teaching you about init, which is a special type of function that we can use within classes. To get started, I'll make class Sammy and say that name is Samantha and age is 25. Now I'll define init by saying def double underscore init double underscore. Since we are defining a function within a class, that means we are technically defining a method, and therefore self must be the first parameter. Lastly, I'll say to print creating Sammy object. Now, you may think this is a weird name for a method, and it is. The double underscore, also known as dunderscore, must be on both sides of init. When Python sees dunderscore init dunderscore, it knows to handle this method differently than normal functions. So, what's the special treatment? Well, it tells Python to run this method as soon as we create an object from that class. We don't have to call this method, as it will automatically execute once we instantiate a Sammy object. Below our class, I'll say SammyObject1 is equal to Sammy. When I run this, I'll see creating Sammy object print out. This is because as soon as SammyObject1 gets set equal to Sammy, our init method runs. Methods that run as soon as an object is created are called constructors. Constructors are common in many languages, so you'll probably see them again in languages such as Java or C#. Currently, our constructor doesn't do much because it has no parameters. If we add some parameters, we can finally start to see why classes are so useful. My end goal is to have class person allow me to pass it any name and age, and have it store that information into one object. I then want to be able to make many different objects, all with different names and ages, without overriding any of my previous work. I'll say class person followed by defining our constructor init. This is where we need to ask for a name and an age. I'll do so by saying our parameters are self, first name, and years old. Within our function block, I'll print that we are creating a person object. To store the parameters values, I'll say self.name is equal to first name and self.age is equal to years old. We use self dot here because we want to use instance variables. These are variables that hold data for one object, not for the whole class. I'll show you what I mean. We can now create our object by saying Kelly is equal to the class person. Her name is the string Kelly and her age is 31. This is kind of weird, but as you can see, we pass arguments to the init function in the parentheses that follow our class name. After this, I'll print Kelly.name and Kelly.age. Running this, we see creating person object, Kelly, and 31 print out. Walking through our code, we define class person and say that we will alert the user every time a person object is made. We'll then create placeholders for their name and age as we don't know what they are yet. We then create our object Kelly and pass the string Kelly to first name and the integer 31 to years old. Since we just made our object, our constructor init runs. This starts by alerting the user that a person object is being made. Then we say that my current object, Kelly, is going to have a name variable, which is equal to first name. First name holds the string Kelly, and therefore self.name is equal to Kelly. Our current object will also have an age variable that is equal to years old, which holds 31. We finish out by printing Kelly's name and age. Now I can create as many person objects as I want, and they won't overwrite Kelly's data. I'll create Logan and set it equal to person and pass the string Logan followed by 42. I'll print Logan.name followed by Kelly.name, and you can see both of their names print out. Even though I created Logan after Kelly, her information was not overridden because we used instance variables. We created our variables in a way that they store information per individual person instead of holding the same value for every object of the person class. And that's it. You have now completed my Intro to Python series. A huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting this series by watching, liking, and subscribing. We here at Code for Humans plan to keep doing this for a long time, so again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next series.